most of us hear the word God, our mind automatically thinks of it as a deity, and it's the image of a being, a deity, a God being, and that was formed in our Western culture through the teaching and interpretation of the life of Jesus, because Jesus made himself one with God. We have assumed that God is like a man, like the man Jesus, personified. And so God has become a deity to our mind. I have since let go of this Christian mental concept of God as a deity, and I see it now more as consciousness. Consciousness is becoming such a common word now to try and express the unformed, ever-expanding power of God, power of creation. It's really thought. I like to think of it as the mind of God, the ever-expanding mind of consciousness. It's not a deity. It's not a being that you can worship. You can't worship consciousness. Our mind likes to have concrete things, to put them in form so that we can worship the form. The Bible calls that idolatry. And I've made a musing before about not casting God in a mental image that we can worship. It's idolatry. We're not meant to give the word God a form. To give God a form, a mental form, is to cast it in stone. It becomes unflexible. So God to me is no longer the idea of a deity, a person, a deified person. God is just the creative principle, quantum science, consciousness. It's the inexplainable. And I like it that it is inexplainable, because that way it doesn't become a thing to worship. We're not meant to worship God. We're not meant to worship an idea. I have to study where this concept of worship came from. It feels so not appropriate to my soul. So it's another religious invention. Worship is a religious invention. If I worship anything, I worship myself, my being as consciousness, as it is expressed through me and in me and as me. So God is not a deity. God is something unexplainable, and it is not meant to be worshipped in the religious sense.